What's up, everybody? Yu-Gi-Oh! 101 card review. Well, not necessarily like a card review. This is more so of like a card uh discussion video of sorts. Because I'm not reviewing the card so I can let you guys know what works with it, what doesn't work with it. I'm here to just talk about the card and why I feel like it's a good or bad thing that this is back. But I think it'll be interesting for everybody to, I think this will be an interesting topic to open up some dialogue about in the comments. So, of course, that's what I do with the discussion videos, is that very thing. I try to open up some dialogue in regards to anything that's going on in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or what have you. So, first let's look at this card, 6 cents. It's a normal trap card, and in the description you declare two numbers from 1 to 6. Then your opponent rolls a 6-sided die, and if the result is one of the numbers you declared, you draw that many cards. Otherwise, send a number of cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the result. Now, this is a good card. A really good card. And now, for the people who were active in this game at the time, when this card first got introduced, you understand how good this card really is. For the people that don't know about 6 cents, you guys are going to find out how good this card really is in an actual duel. You feel me? Like, I want you to take the card, like I want you to take cards like Pot of Greed, and I want you to, I don't know, like take Pot of Greed and take Foolish Burial, and you can fuse those cards together, and you can pretty much, say like get a card like this. It's fairly simple in the way these cards, and in the way 6 cents was used, like around the time that it got banned for the first time. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, okay, so when the card first came out, this is what everybody was doing. Everybody was picking 5 and 6 because that's pretty much like the best, like that's the best strategy to use with this card, is that you pick 5 and 6 to pretty much determine or make sure that you guys have like the lowest numbers, like the highest numbers in your favor and the lowest numbers that if the die does not roll on the number that you pick, then like you won't mill any more than 4 cards. And in a way, I kind of think that this is a good thing that they brought this back, simply because the game isn't what it was, like years ago when this card, when this card was first introduced. And cards are different. A lot of the cards that were active back then that made this card, which was pretty much the reason why this card got banned in the first place. Like those cards aren't even active in the game anymore, so it's really no problem. At the same time, it's a bad thing, because there are decks in this game that can severely take advantage of this in a bad way, you know what I mean? But like I said, people won't understand how good this card is, or why it was a bad idea to bring this card back to begin with, until you actually see it in action. Because for one, okay, so you have like the Light Swarm builds, and you have the zombie builds, you have the Dark Worlds, or what have you. You have decks that can severely benefit from cards like this. And I use the word like severely because they seriously can, benefit off a card like this. They work by milling or having monsters in the graveyard, all 3 of the decks that I named, as well as other ones. And without cards like Macrocosmos or anything like that, that can be a help, you know, you're really going to have to find some way to try to make sure that the builds that can take advantage of a card like this, you gotta make sure that you have those cards in play. Like, those cards aren't even in the game anymore, so it's not like you can just, you know what I mean? I mean, of course, we still have cards like, you know what I'm saying, Dimensional Fisher. We still have cards like, you know what I'm saying, we have cards like Soul Release. You know, we still have cards like Banisher of Radiance. You know, cards to make sure that, you know, if your opponent does decide to mill cards to the graveyard, they would have to get banished instead. So, like, it's really one of those things where it's like, oh man, you gotta be freaking kidding me. But yeah, like I said, I think this is a good and a bad thing. The reason why I think it's a good thing, like, because like I said, the cards that were in place that got this card banned to begin with for the first, you know, for like, a lot of those cards aren't even in the game anymore. But at the same time, there are new cards coming in for said decks and many other, you know, builds out there that is really going to make this, you know, kind of ridiculous. It's bad enough that you got a card like Sixth Sense that, you know, puts the odds in your favor. Like, you get two, like, results as your choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you activate the card. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what they were thinking when they brought this back into the game. I mean, like, to my knowledge, you know, like, the card is limited, so that's good that they did that. But still, man, it's like, come on, man, really? Did you guys really have to bring this card back? It's the money makers, man. You know, like, it's always that one card that really makes it ridiculous, man. But I don't know, man. Like, this one is kind of like a head scratcher as to why they would actually bring this card back into the game. You know, like, I can guess as to why they did it, but I don't think it's gonna be the same thing. You know, I really didn't want to give any ideas out, but if you didn't hear it from me, you're gonna hear it from somebody. You know, let's be honest. You know, like, I've always been like an advocate to try to inspire some type of variety in this game. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you wouldn't have so many people running around with the same build, making things so boring and repetitive. But I digress. But yeah, man, like I said, you guys can talk amongst yourselves. You know, or like, why do you think they brought the card back? I think it's like a marketing strategy. Obviously, it is, because, you know, so like Joy's World didn't really have any. Oh, by the way, this card will be coming October 11th. You know, in Joy's World. But if you already have it, then hey, good for you. But yeah, man, I don't know. This one is a head scratcher. A head scratcher. Like, I don't really understand. You know, so like, what was the reason behind it? So yeah, like, I want to know your opinions. Like, you know, so like, why do you think they brought the card back? Or, you know, or like, if you think that's going to be like a good thing or a bad thing, you know, that they brought it back. So that's it for this video, man. Again, it's a discussion video. Talk amongst yourselves, open up some dialogue, and yeah, see you guys for the next video. Till then, peace.